Hi, writers. This week we are going to be learning a new type of storytelling or writing. We've been writing narratives. Narratives are just stories. And we have written fantasy stories. So remember, fantasy means it couldn't really happen. So we had things like magic and toys that talked and animals that talked, stuff like that. Last week, you guys did realistic fiction. So you still made up a story, but it seemed like it could happen, right? It could be real. This week, we're going to be writing things that really did happen to us, but they're written in a story form. So we write it like as if it's a story, but it actually did happen to us. It's called a personal narrative. The narrative just means story. So personal means it has to do with you. So it's a story about you. So we're going to pick today, our brainstorming is thinking about what time or moment could I write about? And we're going to pick a small moment that's happened to us in our lives and write about it. So let me show you my screen because I want you to see that these kinds of moments can happen. Let me show you. So we can be thinking about school moments. So maybe it's like the 100th day of school. You want to tell the story about one of those days. Maybe there was a party you had in your class. Maybe you went to a field trip that you want to tell the class about. It can be anything that's happened in school that's exciting that you want, that maybe you can write about that. You can write about your family. So maybe you've had a fun time with your family. Maybe you went to the zoo and you want to tell them about how you went to the zoo. Maybe you can write about your cousin's birthday. Um, Maybe you can write about Thanksgiving, or I guess that's a holiday. Sorry, I'm trying to think family moments. Think about just a time that you were with your family and something that happens. Like for me, dancing with my family, that's a very normal thing. Parties with my parents at a family member's house and getting to dance with them. Actually, I can remember, well, I'll do this with you guys, but holiday moments. So things like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, name it, your birthday. These are holiday moments. Maybe you want to write about a time that there was Christmas and something exciting happened. I don't know, it's up to you. And then emotional moments, those are times like when you were really sad, maybe a time when you were scared. You can write about a time when you were happy or sad or mad. But these are just some ideas of different things that you can write about. If you want, you can write something like this where you think out a bunch of ideas. But if you already know your idea, you're not going to do this step, okay? Only the people who need to think of an idea can do this. So give me 1 second. I'm going to do this step just so you can see what it looks like if you want to. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to do that behind me. When I come back, you're going to see it all on my screen. Ready? I filled out the part so that I thought of some ideas. Some school moments I thought I could maybe write about is the 100th day of school, the end of the year parade. Remember when we were in the cars? It was the end of the year parade. Lunch on the lawn, that's a big one. Some family moments that I thought about were when learning to dance with my parents. So they taught us how to dance in our living room. That's a very big moment that I can think of. Um, Holiday moments. I thought about writing about when I bought a real tree with Tim, Mr. Davis, for the first time. An emotion moment was my first day of teaching, and I felt nervous. So I was thinking of a time when I felt nervous, and that was first day of being a teacher. So if you don't know what to write about, you can do this to help you. But this is not your assignment. You don't have to do this. This is just if you don't know what to write about, okay? Once you do know what to write about, then you're ready to do our assignment. And that's going to be brainstorming, getting planning for our story. So I'm going to pick one of these moments, and I'm going to go with, I love them all, but I think I want to write about this one. I want to write about buying a real tree. So what I'm going to do is, give me a second, I'm actually going to do this. And this is what everyone has to do. We're going to be writing what our small moment is, and then inside of the circle, so in here you write your small moment, and on the outside you're going to write all the details you can think about it, okay? So give me 1 second, I'm going to pause again, and I'm going to show you how I do this. Okay guys, so if you see behind me, I have the same thing that was here. I have a small circle, and then I have a big circle. Inside of the small circle, I wrote the words buying a real Christmas tree because that's the story that I want to tell you guys about. And so in the big circle, that's where I'm going to write all my details that I remember. Okay, so I can start listing some things that I remember. I remember who I was with. I was with Mr. Davis. With Mr. Davis. I call him Tim, so in the story he's going to be called Tim. Lots of different types of trees. I remember I went to a store. I didn't actually go to the forest and cut it down. One year we did do that, but that's not the one that I'm going to talk about. So I have to remember the name of the place that I went to. But I remember I went to a store, a Christmas tree store. I remember that there was like different lines with different like types of trees, which I guess lots of different trees in lines. Outside, we are outside. I remember it was a little chilly. Put tree on top of car. Okay, so these are all the things that I can remember. I remember that it was chilly outside. I remember that they put the tree on top of the car when they were done and tied it for us. I remember that we were outside. It was an outside area. I was at a Christmas tree store shop where you can shop for real life trees that are cut down. I went with Mr. Tim, or Mr. Davis, I should say, but I call him Tim because that's his first name. And then there was lots of different types of trees, and they're like in lines. So that's what I remember about buying a real Christmas tree. So now this is what you're going to do. You're going to write what your idea is in a small circle, and inside of a big circle, you can tell me everything you remember, any detail. It doesn't have to sound like a story. Look out, I just made a list of different things that I remember. That's what you're going to do. Make a list of all the things you can remember about that one small moment. Now, please don't pick something super huge. Like I didn't write Christmas. Christmas, there's too much to remember. That's not a moment. That's just like a holiday. So this is a moment inside of a holiday. So the holiday is Christmas, and this is a moment that I remember is buying that tree. So your job is to think of something, a small moment. Zoom into something that's happened to you. And then think of all the ideas that go with it. I'm going to read to you guys a book about a kid and it's called Jabari Jumps. Now, this is a story about a boy who has to jump off of the diving board. That's one moment. He's not writing about the whole time he was at the pool. He's writing about the time when he had to jump off the diving board for the first time. It's a small moment in time. Okay, so let me read it to you so you can see what it's like. Jabari Jumps. Now, this could be like a feeling. He felt scared, so maybe that's how he thought of this idea. I'm jumping off the diving board today, Jabari told his dad. Really? Said Dad. The diving board was high and maybe a little scary, but Jabari had finished his swimming lessons and passed his swim test, and now he was ready to jump. I'm a great jumper, said Jabari, so I'm not scared at all. Jabari watched the other kids climb that long ladder. They walked all the way out to the end of the board, as big as tiny bugs. Then they stood on the edge. They spread their arms and bent their knees and sprang up, up, up. And then they dove down, 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 splash. Looks easy, Jabari said. But when his dad squeezed his hand, Jabari squeezed back. Jabari started to, oh, sorry. Jabari stood at the bottom of the ladder. He looked up. You can go before me if you want, he told the kid behind him. I need to think about what kind of special jump I'm going to do. Jabari thought and thought. Seems like he's getting a little nervous. Jabari started to climb up and up. This ladder is very tall, he thought. Are you okay? Called his dad. I'm just a little tired, said Jabari. Maybe you should climb down and take a teeny rest, said his dad. A teeny rest sounded like a good idea. When he got to the bottom, Jabari remembered something. I forgot to do my stretches, he said to his dad. Stretching is very important, he said to his dad, or said his dad. I think tomorrow might be a better day for jumping, Jabari said. They looked up at the diving board together. It's okay to feel a little scared, said his dad. Sometimes it feels like if I feel a little scared, I take a deep breath and tell myself I am ready. And you know what? Sometimes it stops feeling scary and feels a little like a surprise. Jabari loved surprises. Jabari took a deep breath and felt it fill his body from the ends of his hair right down to the tips of his toes. Jabari looked up. He began to climb up and up and up and up until he got to the top. Jabari stood up straight. He walked all the way to the end of the board. His toes curled around the rough edge. My goodness. Jabari looked out as far as he could see. He felt like he was ready. I love surprises, he whispered. He took a deep breath and spread his arms and bent his knees. Then he sprang up, off the board, flying. Jabari hit the water and splash. Down, 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 down he went, and then back up. Whoosh. Jabari, you did it, said his dad. I did it, said Jabari. I'm a great jumper. And you know what? What? Said his dad. Surprise double backflip is next. And that's the end of the story. See how the story's about him and how he's afraid to go off the diving board, and then finally he does it? It's this small moment. So you guys are going to pick your own small moment. And like I said, in the middle is where you write what moment you want to write about that's really happened to you. And on the outside, write all the things that you can remember about it. What did you hear? What did you see? Um, what are all the things that you can remember about it, okay? Once you've done this, your very last step is going to be, so this is step 1. Step 2 is going to be drawing out your beginning, middle, and end. So on the next page, so you're doing all this on a notebook. On the next page, I want you to draw out your beginning, middle, and end. I'm going to stop, and then you're going to see mine. Give me 1 second. Real quick, I drew out, just like I said, my beginning, middle, and end. You can see the beginning, I drew us driving up. I wrote the name of the store, Oakland Nursery. You can see the trees in the back. In the middle, we're picking out trees, and you can see the lines of different trees. And then I even circled and starred the one that we got. And then at the end, I drew out the tree being tied up to the car. So now it's your turn. Come up with your idea, and then draw it out. All right, guys, that's what you have to do. Just a reminder, this is what it looks like. Well, you'll see it. You guys can do it. Have fun.